Hello and welcome to my weekly update video. A number of things to talk to you about this time. First of all, locally, just to let you know if you live in and around Overton. I had a very good and productive meeting last Friday with the Overton Business Association, who represent a lot of the businesses on the high street there, to talk about how we can keep that high street as vibrant and kind of throbbing as it is, make sure that the businesses there can grow, and that as units become empty or whatever, that they are filled. We talked about some of the burdens that small businesses face, particularly the rates bill, which seems to be hitting some businesses and not others, and some of the issues that are important to them in the village, like housing development, where they'd like to see an acceleration of housing, because obviously more housing brings more people, means the shops make more money and are much more likely to survive. So you'll be seeing more action from me with them over the next few months. It's something I promised to do during the general election. Second thing just to update you on is the sort of transport related issues. I've had a couple of letters just to alert you about, first of all, the A303. Over the next 6 months or so, they're going to be doing quite a lot of work at the southern end of the constituency, renewing some of the bridges at Kimpton, Thruxton, Quorley, Picket 20, where the surface needs to be renewed and made more waterproof. That's going to mean narrow lanes, 50-mile-an-hour limits, and some nighttime closures in and around Andover. So just keep an eye out for that. You can find information on the DFT website. The other roads issue is the A303, which some of you may know is the road that runs from Andover to Newbury. It's quite a small A road. It's up and down like this the whole time, and it sees too many HGVs. And those HGVs should be using the A34 and the 303 to go where they need to go. So I've already had a conversation with the roads minister to see if we can get some signage up at both ends of that road to try and discourage the big lorries from using it. Villages like Highclere, Hurstbourne Tarrant, Knights Enham really suffer from these lorries thundering past. And if we can divert them onto what is a much better route for them, half of them have to crawl up the hill from Hurstbourne Tarrant in any event. If we can divert them on a better route, then it'll be better for them too. So watch this space on that. The next one is Network Rail have notified me that there's going to be some work at Waterloo as part of the upgrade during August. That's going to mean some restrictions on trains going in and out of the station. At the same time, unfortunately, the new franchisee is coming in on the line, South West Trains, who I've met already and are promising big improvements. I know they're working closely with Network Rail to try and minimise the disruption to passengers on the line at that time. But if you do travel in and out of Waterloo on a regular basis, just keep an eye out for that time during August. It's the 5th to the 28th when there'll be works at Waterloo, and it might be disruptive. Hopefully they'll keep it to that time window. Final thing I just want to mention is there's been a lot of controversy nationally about this, the public sector pay cap. I had quite a lot of emails from people in the constituency complaining about the controls on public sector pay. I just wanted to emphasise to people that nobody takes any pleasure in controlling public sector pay. And if we had the money, it would be great to be able to pay police officers and teachers and nurses a lot more money. I'm going to put a statement that was made in the House today further down the page so you can have a look at the statement on this issue. But it's worth remembering that we still as a country have a massive national debt issue. Our national debt is heading towards £2 trillion now, and the interest on that debt is swallowing more and more and more of our taxes. It already is more than we spend on defence and education combined. And I found out today that it's just about more than the entire NHS salary bill is paid out on debt interest. If we don't continue to bear down on and get control of our debt, notwithstanding the sacrifices that everybody has to make to do that, then it's going to be our children and our grandchildren who have to pay for these enormous debts. We're shoving it, kicking the can down the road is not a sensible or a fair thing to do. Now, the government is respecting pay review bodies. There are a number of those that have been settled already, and there are some due to come in the summer. And I hope and believe that we can reach a fair settlement with public sector workers, but at the same time keep a laser-like focus on making sure we live within our means. If we don't do that as a country, in 20 or 30 years' time we will be sunk, and that's the country that my children and your children will inherit. And so I hope you understand the rationale for what's happening. Anyway, that's it for this week. Hopefully see you next week.